camp is working overtime, doing everything they can do except give back the money Diddy paid them to make sure this man gets out. Baby, we love to see it. They are saying that Diddy is saying he cannot go another Thanksgiving in the pokey. They are saying that Diddy is thinking about going on a hunger strike. Diddy is thinking about having his kids, again, believe what you want to believe, but they are saying that Diddy is considering having his kids creating a campaign where they actually have a petition and a GoFundMe to actually get Diddy out of jail. They want to see if they can create a mass movement. I said, you know what? I don't know how those whole change.org petitions do, but I'm pretty sure that they don't have change.org petitions to get the devil out. I'm pretty sure. Is there a way to get negative signatures on a negative it won't be negative signatures because it'll have Young Miami, it'll have Carlucci. You know Gina's going to sign her name in big letters in crayon. Gina, right? You actually know it. The point of all this is to say, let's actually talk about this, all right? And shout out to Ticket TV. I believe he broke this story. I actually went over to his channel. Pretty good. It's nice to see a Black man actually defending Black women with all his chest. Now, that's it. I hope he's never said anything, talk shit about me. Because if he did, I take it all back. But shout out to Ticket TV for breaking this story on YouTube. Okay, so Diddy's release date has been set. I believe it is May of 2028, right? So Diddy has about, 383 days left of bologna and cheese sandwiches. He has 2,083 days to eat the chicken oodles and noodles. Is the fact that Diddy thinks that here's the thing, and Ticket TV brought this up. There's a pardon, and we know what a pardon is. You just get to go. And there's a commutation. A commutation is something different. A commutation is basically a leash around your throat. I think that's even like with Mayor Eric Adams. I know he was never convicted of anything, but he didn't pardon him from all his crimes. He just, if Eric Adams doesn't shuck in a jive doing the thing. Yeah, I know people love Eric Adams, but baby, he is working. He is working like the rent is due, and all he got is a pretty face and a nice butt to make that rent due. He is working, because at any time the administration can choose to pursue charges. So he basically has a temporary release, right? He has a guest pass out of hell, but at any time he can be revoked back in. Diddy has a lot to think about. People are saying that pardon is going to cost him somewhere around $300 million. He has to borrow. If he doesn't borrow, he has to liquidate everything he has, and he still needs people to come in and actually hold it together. All right. On top of that, he has to do a little bit more because Trump's like, no, I need something more. He said a lot of things. Trump likes to make people that prior to going in on him said something bad about him. He likes to make them grovel. He likes to make them crawl around on his belly. Diddy is facing a bunch of challenges, and we're about to get into this new thing because it's funny, but let me just line it up for you, right? Diddy is chasing a bunch of challenges. One, where's he going to come up with all the money that is actually needed for this? Okay. It's a lot of money. I know what people saying Diddy's a billionaire, but if you guys don't know, at least with these music mogul billionaires, true, they got no more money than me and you probably combined, or at least I know me. I don't want to speak on your finances, but there is the thing that you need liquid assets. To say you have a jet worth of 50 million, you have a house worth 100 million, it takes time to buy it. And when people know you need to liquidate your assets, that's when people start getting real funny. Like, I'll give you $5 and a bite of my Twizzler if you want to sell it right now. But if not, okay, fine. You don't get a bite of my Twizzler, right? So Diddy's going through that. He might have enough money, but it's going to really, really stretch him financially. So one, where's he going to get the money to pay people back? And where's he going to get the money to live off of? Because we all know Diddy, right? He is not about to come out of jail looking bummy. I really honestly don't think so. He is not. Those 30-inch bust downs that the Janice, they cost money. I've seen the hair. It is high quality hair, right? All right. Second of all, he wants a pardon. But even because the people that were working on the pardon were like, listen, we won't give you a pardon, we'll give you a commutation, right? Now, if you guys don't know the difference between a pardon and a commutation, let me actually let you guys, oh, wrong phone. Let me actually put you guys down on what it is, because I wanted to be very, very, a pardon forgives the crime. It erases all legal guilt, okay? Even though it can't erase like historical fact. We all know that you are the devil, and you into some really weird stuff that go, again, what you do in your room is okay as long as it's consensual, but also it goes against Diddy's whole image. He was trying to pretend he wasn't something he wasn't. And it restores civil rights like voting, or more importantly, holding office, okay? It's as if the conviction never happened in the eyes of the law, and it does not necessarily release someone from prison immediately, though it can, okay? In Diddy's case, his team has been telling him it will release him immediately. A commutation reduces the punishment, not the conviction. It can shorten a prison sentence or replace it with time served. And the person is still guilty. If someone is serving 20 years and the president or the governor commutes it to 10 years, they still have the conviction, just less time. And if they are pardoned, they are forgiven entirely and legally cleared of the offense. Now, what's the whole deal? You're looking at 300 million, right? And you're looking at, I want the pardon. I want this completely erased from my record, because I believe, like these sources believe, that Diddy thinks that he can somehow brainwash it. He can brainwash the nation. He can sue for that tape since he bought it and he's supposed to, and all the rights to it, although covertly he did buy it. He can, and I believe Cassie might have in her settlement relinquished, can just forget about this trial. So that's a pipe dream. It's a dream of him getting away with the RICO charge. I never thought that was happening. I was in the court every single day. I saw the evidence that was presented. The jury, in my opinion, got it wrong. And clearly the judge thinks the jury got it wrong too. Okay, so we have all that going on, okay? And who said this? Hold on. Thank you, Miss Ness, for pointing out the difference between a pardon and a commutation. Okay, so you have all that. And Diddy wants the pardon, because again, he's still trying to dance with the devil. See, here's the thing everybody's forgetting. Diddy knows Trump just like Trump knows Diddy. They was like this. They was boo-coo buddies. He knows that, man. He knows the type of time that Trump is usually on. He knows the type of tricks that Trump's played. Why? Because Diddy plays them himself. And he knows that if he does not get a pardon, Trump is going to hold a commutation over his head. He's going to hold it over his head like it is a leash and have him with his little legs swinging, right? Every single time Trump says to jump, he's going to pull that leash up. And Diddy's going to have to literally bark like you want it. Woo! You better get on your knees and bark like you want it. Anyway, Diddy's going to have to bark like he wants it, right? Here's the thing with Diddy's whole thing. You got to spend the $300 million. You want a full pardon because you think that will take it away from Trump's wrath. But the one thing Diddy is forgetting, and I think his legal team is probably hoping he forgets, Trump is the president. And Trump filed charges against Letitia James. And they were like, she ain't doing nothing. What you want to do? One of the Justice Department people resigned because they were like, I really don't see what this lady did. I don't see, what? What is going on? You want charges against James Comey. You are bringing charges against, I think they said there's going to be charges against Adam Schiff. You're bringing charges left and right. Diddy, Trump knows your business. And Trump will go, see, here's the thing. The U.S. Attorney's Office didn't seal the deal because they didn't get illegal and they were doing things like according to the book. Trump don't got no problem burning the book. And he doesn't have any problem going and getting information by any means necessary. So the fact that Diddy is like, I want a pardon. A pardon is not going to mean that you are not going to have to get on your knees and bark like you want it every time Trump snaps his finger, right? That's not going to help. But in Diddy's mind, because I think his team has been telling him, oh, no, you'll be clear. He won't have any hooks into you. He will, because he knows your business. And the federal government, for whatever reason, stopped investigating him. But everybody acting like Diddy was like the last Boy Scout. You guys are insane. People know how dirty Diddy allegedly is, at least according to all his victims, all right? And the ones defending him. Even Gina, she didn't say Diddy wasn't a monster. She said she feels comfortable with the monster. Literally, the monster had her head in its mouth, didn't shut down. So she's like, see, again, dumb, right? But Gina's not saying Diddy's not a monster. Diddy didn't do horrible things. She just said, I don't think Diddy's a danger to anybody, meaning I don't think Diddy would put somebody in the ground. Okay. The whole point of the matter when it comes to this, to get back to this, oh, hold on really quick. Honeybee Therapy, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you, mama. The whole point of this matter is that Diddy thinks a pardon is going to be his golden ticket. Trump's team, and by his team, I mean the lobbyists that work with Trump's team. If you guys don't know, it is illegal to sell presidential pardons. However, since the beginning of time with presidential pardons, there are people that are lobbyists. You pay them millions upon millions of dollars, and they grease hands and get you in rooms so you can finally be in the room to get a pardon with the president. Okay, so technically it's illegal for the president to sell a pardon. It is not illegal for the people around the president to actually exercise curry favor to get into the room to actually see if the president wants to pardon you. Do with that what you will. A commutation, the people that Diddy paid to actually see if he could get a pardon, they're like, why don't you just do this? You'll be out of jail. But Diddy's saying, if I'm out of jail, I'm going to be in the same boat as Eric Adams. I'm going to be forced to be Trump's lapdog till the end of time. Now, I don't understand what the problem is, because if you weren't Trump's lapdog, you were someone's lapdog, because Diddy was the lapdog to the DNC. So I really don't understand it. For they all saying Diddy would never side with the Republicans. Diddy would sell his last born, I believe, if he could get out of jail a few months earlier. So let's not be naive. At least that's what I believe. Diddy only cares about saving himself. If all his kids could do a month in jail each, so he never has to, I believe that's actually what it would be. Okay. So at the end of the day, Diddy's looking at that. He feels like he can be free with a pardon. Also, let's not forget, and this is the weird thing that everybody keeps overlooking, pardon allows you voting rights back, but it also allows you to run for office. What if Diddy decided to become councilman of Harlem? What if Diddy decided to one day run for mayor in New York? I know what you're saying. You smoking crack, that wouldn't happen. But Diddy literally could have political aspirations. Diddy literally could have aspirations that he'd want to get involved in politics, because at the end of the day, isn't that the perfect place for narcissists to hide? You can't make it an entertainment anymore. So all these goons and buffoons that are co-signing for you, he saw the power his star power had over the jury, and they were looking at hardcore evidence. So maybe Diddy really is sitting in his cell being like, yo, I want to get in politics. Whatever it is, the fact that he wants that pardon lets me know that he wants to get involved in something that makes sure that you don't have a criminal record. Now, the second part of that is the 300 million. Diddy only has to do 2028, May 2028 is his release date. So that means that Diddy would only have to do how much time? I'm bad at math. 228, we're in 225. Like, what is that? 2.5 years? Or is that 3.5 years? Let me see. That's 2.5. So Diddy only has to do 2.5 years before he was actually be released. I hope that's right. 2026, 2027, 2028. Yeah, he'd have to do 2.5 years before he's actually released. Okay, so if he's doing 2.5 years before he's released, is that really worth 300 million? Is that really worth going into debt? Is that really worth really abiding by everything? The only way I can think that maybe it is if the fact that Diddy is in so much hell right now, you know? That's the only thing that I can really think of. Hey, what's up, YM Droid? YM Droid, who's been a member for 14 months of the Tattletales. What's up? Also, you guys, listen, it's that time of year again. Listen, mama's bills need to be paid. I would like to beg for a like. I would like to beg for a follow. And if you could, I would like to beg for a Christmas gift of you guys becoming a member of the Tattletales family. That's what, yeah, that's what I would like to beg for. Santa, if you can bring me 1,000,000 subbies, I would love it. If you could bring me 700,000 subbies, I would love. Okay, Santa, if you could bring me 500 subbies, okay. I'll stop asking for stuff. Anyway, right? YM Droid said the DOJ already has any tapes Diddy could hope to use for leverage. I'm here for his team scraping and scrambling his pockets for nothing. Now, here's the weird part about the scraping and scrambling the things. I don't understand. Is Diddy dangerous or not? Because from my whole point, if I was Mark Agnifilio, if I was Brian Still, if I was this, they already got their money. The people handling his appeal, well, I think Mark Agnifilio will still remain Diddy's personal lawyer. And also, we have Shapiro, Driscoll, and I think a third person are going to be the lawyers for the appeal. And that appeal is going to cost them somewhere between 8 and 15 million. 8 and 15 million is nothing compared to 300 million. However, most appeals in the criminal justice system don't come up until 2 or 3 years after sentencing. It's very rare for somebody. And here's the thing, you have to wait in line for your appeal. It's very, very rare for someone that only has 2.5 years to want to get an appeal. Now, you look at that 300 million. Trump clearly isn't going to appeal, pardon him, or commute the sentence right now. I think the block is too hot politically, and I think Trump is busy letting other people off. However, if you look at the whole thing of what he has to go through, if you look through that, it's like, okay, then why don't you just take your punishment? Because if you pay 8 to 15, they're still going to bill you, but you might not be heard until the end of 2026, middle of 2027. Now you're going in 2028, and you lost 15 million. That 300 million, are you willing to give away every last penny and go into serious debt with people that want their money to get out maybe a year and a half early? Now that's if you believe what's going on with, hey, Soul Sister, yay! Oh, thank you, Santa. Soul Sister, welcome to the Tattletales family. And Deborah, welcome to the Tattletales family. You guys, thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. I really do. The whole point of the matter is, when it comes to that 300 million, let me go to the comments. Would you guys pay 300 million not to serve 2.5 years in jail? Or put it like this, and mind you, this is federal jail. This isn't at a BC. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that type of prison, like Oz or like whatever. I'm talking about like Club Fed, a cushy federal jail. If somebody said, I will give you 300 million if you do 2.5 years in jail, would you do it? Put a 1 in the comments if you would do it. Put a 1 in the comments if you would do it. Would you do it? Hold on, let me do a poll. Would you spend 2.5 years in jail? Which one's worse, jail or prison? Whatever. We'll put Fed jail. Fed jail for 300 million. Would you? I just started a Q&A. Would you spend 300 million? If I gave you 300 million, would you spend 2.5 years in prison? Yeah, exactly. I would too, but only for the 3.5 million. And my face comes out protect. Oh my God, I know my body would be like my sentence would be expanded, because they would find me streaming from the prison library on a stolen telephone, talking about some, hey guys, what's up? So anyway, and I would be going live streaming, probably being nosy. I would literally be like, get in trouble live streaming from prison, letting y'all know all the gossip. Because what is gossip if you can't share it with anybody? But honestly, 300 million. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be very, very sad to see my family, but I would tell them I'm going on 2.5 year vacation. Dry your eyes. When I get out, I'm buying all y'all houses, and we're going to have a family yacht. And I would literally, oh, my body would be so tea, so tea. I would be it. I would be like in that prison in front, literally doing squats and bungee jumping and like listening to like the model health show on my podcast. My body would be tea coming out of prison, you know? But for 300 million, absolutely. I'll buy y'all all houses when we get out. Don't worry. Y'all don't even got to come visit me. I don't even want to see y'all till I do my body reveal. You know, that's the next time y'all will see me, right? The whole point of, listen, no, so Juliet said, is there a guarantee that you come out alive? Well, Juliet, hear me out. There is federal prison is notoriously much, much safer. Diddy is going to be in a medium to low security. Federal prison is not like it's not like that's state prison. State prison is the Badlands. I don't think I would do 2.5 years in state prison. But in federal prison, I would take the trade-off. For 300 million, oh my God. Tracy Williams, welcome to the Title Toss family. Thank you for signing up. Right? Somebody said no amount of money is worth being locked up. Damn, I get your point, but 300 million? I don't know. I would sleep it off. I would be getting my beauty sleep. I would be getting 12 hours of sleep. I would be in an infirmary. Listen, if I had to buy protection, I would literally get like the biggest girls in there and be like, okay, I'll pay y'all all $1 million each. Just watch my back. It's 2.5 years. Fine. Even if I got to pay 50 million of it into protection, I still got 250 million. You know, the whole point of the matter is Diddy is looking at it is it worth it to pay for this pardon from Trump and pay every penny you have and know that Trump is going to want so many, right? So many favors from you. He's going to want you to want you to get on your knees and bark like you want it. You are going to have to bark like you want it, right? Again, listen. Again, the point is like Dad Hotep said, the point is would you spend 300 million just to get out maybe a few months ahead of time by the time it gets through court? Thank you, Dad Hotep. And I think the whole point of it is, no. Diddy doesn't think that he basically has, you know, that old thing, you have a choice between ish and diarrhea. That's what Diddy has right now. He is not looking at one good outcome. There is not one good outcome that Diddy has in this. And baby, we love to see this. But with Diddy's team, I don't understand. I do understand. They want to see if they can get another 8 to 15 million because they're going to get paid whether Diddy gets a pardon. There could be a chance that they do all this work for a pardon. They do all this work for a appeal. Put it in, and that appeal comes up. I mean, if I worked in the Justice Department, you know I'd like to troll. That appeal would come up. What date? He's getting out May 2028. I would say we have granted you an audience of appeal April 1st, 2028. Because I would even make it go on April Fool's Day just to, you know, just to do what it does, you know. Listen, Tracy Williams said, I'm not paying 300 million because when I get out, I'm leaving to go somewhere else and start a whole new life. Now, Tracy Williams, you make an interesting point. There's been a lot of rumors that Diddy plans when he gets out, he does. And here's why he might be. Let me just speed things up with the 300 million. You bring up a good point, Tracy. See, the jail to me is the easiest part of Diddy's sentence. What Diddy really got to worry about is that parole. Let me, first of all, he got 5 years. 5 years is a long time for anything, even a relationship. That's a long time. He has 5 years parole. In that parole, he can be drug tested at any time. His probation officers can pop up on him at any time. He can be drug tested at any time. I already mentioned that. He can also He cannot spend a penny without them knowing. He can't even buy a nickel bag in Central Park without them knowing about it. He cannot apply for any new credit cards, line to credit, debit cards without telling the government what they were. He cannot make any large withdrawals without the government knowing about it. Every single bank account, every single business, every single transaction, the government must be aware of this. Why? Because this is the way Diddy funded his escorts. This is the way he funded the Mann Act. On top of that, the Mann Act is a crime that is adjacent to, it actually is a SMEX crime charge, right? With the Mann Act. But the point of the matter is, he is either literally going to have to really be clean and change his whole way. He can't even hire escorts anymore because hiring escorts is illegal. He can't even hire escorts anymore. They are going to be on his ass. And for the people being like, oh, he's probably going to send that money to his children. But you guys aren't listening to me. Every account that he owns, either personal or business, the federal government must be aware of it. And please be aware that the federal government is going to be looking at everything he does. So if he transfers money over to one of his kids' accounts, and then the kids' accounts are the ones paying the hookers, that you just made your kids accessories to crime, and now everybody's going down. Any jobs he wants to take, right? He has to run that by the federal government. Why? Because you are not allowed to participate in illegal operations. You're not allowed to have criminals by you. Anyone that's been convicted of anything, you're not allowed to have criminals by you. You're not convicted of the Mann Act. You're not allowed to have people that are doing criminal activities. You're not allowed to have people do criminal activities for you. These are all violations of your parole. Now, in real life, they might catch them and be like, well, you know what? It's no big deal. You get a slap on the hands. Okay, fine. We found a handgun on your tour bus. We found a bag of Tucci in your thing. Oh, it's just for my personal consumption. That is illegal, and you are going to jail. All of the dumb ish that Diddy was getting away with because he thought he was untouchable and a king, and he had a bunch of people running around for money, doing anything he wanted. That's all going to send him to jail now. I think that one of the reasons Diddy might seriously be considering this $300 million or even this appeal is not the 2.5 years jail. Maybe he's gotten his mind around the fact that he is going to be in jail for 2.5 years. I think the issue with Diddy is worried, so worried that probation is going to mess him up and be the end of him. Hey, what's up, Kira? Kira Jordan said, hey, Tisa, Gina got mad at me for coming on IG. What? Check it out. You got Kara. Listen, I'm sure that was very funny because Gina is naturally a funny person, but not for the way she thinks. But also, you guys, listen, Gina, at the end of the day, I know I call her God's dum-dum, right? At the end of the day, Gina is a dum-dum, but she is also a victim of Diddy, even if she doesn't think so. Now that Diddy's in jail, I do think we should show Gina and all of the dum-dum lovers the women that love him, a little grace. Because my prayer for Gina, even though she don't even got this prayer for herself, but my prayer for Gina or any woman that was involved in Diddy is they find the healing, the self-love, and when that self-love translates into self-respect, and self-respect sounds like I'm like looking down on them, but self-respect starts from self-love. The self-love Cassie found to be like, I am someone's child. I'm a child of God. How dare you treat me like a rag doll? How dare you treat me like a blank rag? How dare you treat me as a blank toy? How dare you treat me as anything less than one of God's creations? If you don't believe in God, how dare you treat me as if not someone that has literally got what everything in this universe is fighting for, and that's life, and I am here, and how dare you treat me less than? I pray to God Gina finds whatever love for herself filled Cassie's heart enough for her to break free. I really honestly do. Gina is a dum-dum. She is stubborn. She is hard-headed. She delights and being, it's like, so did I ever tell y'all that in the courtroom, right? When I told y'all, so let me tell you my run-in with Gina. So in the courtroom, all for sentencing day, all of Diddy's family was like jamming in, jamming in, jamming in. And of course, they wanted to be there. They wanted to show support. Also, everybody thought Diddy was getting out, so they wanted to be there and get, like, I think, pats on the head, like, oh, I was there with you, right? Even though Diddy ain't grateful to no one but his mama. So y'all wasting your time, but what do I know, right? They know the man better than me. So anyway, all the family was there and everybody was crammed in, crammed in, crammed in. Gina comes walking in, right? Gina's a beautiful woman, pretty face, beautiful body. She's pretty, right? Beautiful, actually. And she comes walking in, and it's 3 rows of Diddy's people, and everybody is sitting there. And yes, there was family and the boys and the girlfriends and the twins and this and that and Mama Combs and her people, right? But there were a lot of people where it's like, Gina has done more to help Diddy get out of jail than any of you. Because Gina didn't testify, Diddy was not convicted of RICO, and he wasn't convicted of sex trafficking. Because here's the thing, Gina wasn't just going to testify to the violence. I believe Gina was going to testify things that the federal government thought would be helpful for their sex trafficking case. What did he have Gina involved in? And unlike Cassie, Gina didn't get money. Unlike Jane, Gina didn't get all these lavish vacations. Gina ain't get nothing but some hard D and bubble gum. And every time that he saw her, he was fresh out of bubble gum. So I do believe that Gina, by her risking being held in contempt, by her risking the federal government's wrath, Gina said, I'm not testifying. And I believe that was the first fatal blow to the prosecution's case. Now, Gina also she did a TMZ thing when she should have been testifying. No, he's not a danger. She wrote 2 letters to the court and made multiple statements. Okay? You would think, now also, Gina was one of the people that talked to the federal government, and it's one of the reasons why Diddy even got arrested in the first place. But I would argue it wasn't Gina, it was Diddy's actions. And like, did he really expect her to lie to the federal government? I think the answer to that is, I think he did expect her to do that, because at the end, Gina dropped out of the trial. Now, Gina will say it's because she realized he wasn't a danger, but okay. And then she said the feds forced her. I said, okay, all right, that's ingenious. So y'all know Gina's history, right? So I'm watching, right? And I'm sitting so there's pews, right? There's pews, like church almost, right? And I'm sitting in the back pew because I have a really good angle to see directly to where Diddy is, but also I can see where, I can also see like the prosecution and the defense, and I can see clearly Judge Aaron's face, because you know me, I love reading people's body language. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this whole psychodrama, and I'm like, oh, okay. And Gina was like literally trying to fit in, and everybody looked at her like she wasn't nothing and was like, there's no room. This is what I observed. There's no room. And Gina, who did more for Diddy's freedom than 80% of the people sitting in those 3 rows, had to go, and she literally had to go sit in the overflow room. However, right, the court guards that run the thing realized they were with Diddy, and they were like, oh, no, because everybody thought Diddy was going to be like, convicted. Only Diddy's people thought he was going. They're like, no, let's get someplace where you can sit, right? And they literally pulled out a folding chair for her to sit, and they made a row behind the last pews, which were folding chairs. And I remember giggling to myself, because Gina then decided, out of all the rows of the folding chairs, to sit directly behind me, in a plastic chair. Now, in my mind, I'm like, ain't no B that's sitting in a plastic folding chair after you just played the hell out of yourself. Okay, that's why you was messing with a billionaire and had dirty carpet on your floor, literally doing TikToks at 4 a.m, begging for attention, fighting with Young Miami. But I said, you know what? Whatever, hard head, soft spine. So Gina sat behind me. And I remember thinking, see, this is what is wrong with Gina. She's just not like, because the thing is, most people are like, oh my God, did Gina sit behind you to intimidate you? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. First of all, she did that. I hope not. Do not let this sunny disposition fool you. Do not let this sunny disposition fool you. I assure you. I assure you. There's a reason I am on God's green earth on how many years? Not a mark on this face. Please do not let the sunny disposition fool you. But that said, I come in peace. I come in peace. I come in peace. Jokes, a little light shade, laughing. That's how I like to live life, right? But if you want to go to hell, okay. But also, let's be real. We are all adults, and this is a federal courtroom. You would be a fool to try to do something in a federal courtroom. So, in my mind, I'm like, what was the point of sitting right behind me? We're in a federal courtroom, okay? My security is sitting right there, right? My man made sure I had 4 that day, right? Sitting right next to me, just in case some stuff happened, right? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Security is sitting right there. Shout out to Dave. Yes, he was able to get into the courthouse and sit with me. Security was sitting right there watching the whole thing. Like, what is this young lady up to? He didn't know who she was. He just knew, this is odd. Why somebody with Diddy's camp sitting right behind you when there's all these free seats, right? This is odd. So he's looking like, who's this weirdo? Pay attention, right? Second of all, there's armed guards everywhere. Are you dumb if something happened in this courtroom? Are you dumb? I'll tell you one thing. If something did happen, I would be the first to on the floor like a fish and sue everybody. Sue everybody. Even a Southern District in New York. Or some people like to say, my employer. So anyway, Gina goes with all these seats and she sits right behind me. And I was like, see, that's why you never lived in life. Because she is so incredibly short-sighted, almost like a little kid. Because one, there's security everywhere. What are you going to do? 2, we're in the federal courthouse. This is a federal crime. You are going to be writing Diddy from your prison sentence. Because guess what? I press charges. 3, even if I didn't, I got my security right here. So what's up? And 4, even if I didn't have the court security, even if I didn't have my security, I got this security right here. Because at the end of the day, are you insane? You come right, like, are you insane? You come right, are you insane? So anyway, right? I'm just like, okay, girl, like, we could do this 1, 2, 3, or we can walk, right? We can right? Fine, whatever. I'm like, I'm cool. But also the stupidness where when he sat down, he was looking around for Gina. But because he had spent half the trial giving me the dirtiest of dirty looks, but I grew up getting dirty looks, so I was sitting there like, when people give me dirty looks, it actually makes me smirk a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know why. Call it the inner troll, but it's like, like we could do this, One of us is going to stop at Chick-fil-A, even though I shouldn't have. One of us is going to stop at Chick-fil-A or Morgenstein's Finest ice creams and give myself a little treat because I had a tough day. And the other one of us is going to be seeing if the commissary is still open, so you can get the spicy chicken oodles and noodles. Right? What is this dirty look doing? But also, I was like, God, Gina just doesn't think forward. I feel like she's an incredibly emotional person and she doesn't forward think, which means like, I feel like the frontal cortex of her brain hasn't closed up. I'm not joking. But also when Diddy's looking around for you, he saw you and you're sitting right behind me. So Diddy stopped looking for her because every single time he wanted to look for her and lock eyes, I was right there like, no, I was right there like this. Hold on. This is me, the whole court. Every single time he looked over. And by that time, once they shut the court doors, they would not let you move your seat. So Gina wanted, I guess, to move her seat, or at least it looked like she wanted to move her seat, and she couldn't move her seat. So she was locked in. So now the family and the friends don't even honor you because they don't need you anymore. Sentences are happening. 2, you behind me, so Diddy can't even look at you. And every time he turns around to even black eyes, I'm looking right at him. So dummy, what are we doing? So I say all this to say, pray for, and Kira also, I'm going to look what you sit on IG, right? But I say all to say, pray for Gina's soul. I hope one day the love of self and self worth that Cassie, after 10 years of abuse, was able to harness and muster up to the point that she found herself and she found true happiness and everything that she wanted. Beautiful kids, a loving husband. She found everything she wanted by just finding that seed of self-love and letting it grow. I truly, truly do pray that Gina finds that, because it's kind of like Gina is beautiful. People tell me she's talented. She's super clever. She's not. Here's the thing: Gina is dumb in some ways, but I always say everybody has different intelligence. Gina is not a forward thinker, but Gina is a survivor. She knows how to survive, and that is a talent, especially if you learn to focus it and do the right things with it. You can become so successful when you know how to survive. Jay-Z is a survivor. He knows how to survive many different iterations. If Gina could just get that and focus on, she could probably be super successful, go super far. Diddy, at the end of the day, I believe, only had people around to suck their energy and their life force and this and that. My point of the matter with Gina is, yeah, I pray. Well, listen, no, we need to start showing the women that are still attached to Diddy like a lot of grace, and Gina needs a lot of grace. Gina needs a lot of grace. Gina Husky, that's crazy. Said Gina Diddy is getting out May 2028. Gina is getting out May 2028. Westside Media said, Tisa, stop. You ain't fit in a fight. Westside Media, let me tell you something. No, I'm not. I am too cute to be fighting. However, you just because I do not want to fight and I have a little bit of coof and I'm not going to fight in a federal courthouse does not mean that if anybody tried to lay their hands on me, they wouldn't get dog walked to the best of my ability. Now, I'm not saying I'm Hogan. I'm sure if you got Debo, right, I might be the one, being dog walked. But the point is, I think it is the height of stupidity to think that anyone, no matter what they look like to you or what you think of them, if you try to do harm to them or intimidate them, that they are just going to take it. Like, I think that's just, again, the biggest mistake you can do in life is to underestimate someone. I don't underestimate anyone. To me, Gina could be the next Bill Gates. I don't know. She has the potential. I don't underestimate anyone, but that's why you should never underestimate anyone. But again, I will say one thing: don't let the sunny disposition fool you. All right, just don't let it fool you. It ain't shit sweet except for my personality. Just don't let it fool you. Right? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. And if that's it. Right? I am not a bully. I do not walk with a big stick. I do not believe in violence. But if you want to take it there, all right. My daddy told me a little bit about that. Exactly. Thank you. Marie Barrera said, Tease has no time for... Exactly, Maria, exactly. I don't have time for stupid drama. Because at the end of the day, who is starting fights in the federal courtroom? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Who is starting fights in a federal courtroom? And how are you planning on intimidating me in a federal courtroom? If you leave it to half of the broke, miserable, right, prematurely balding YouTube that was going after me, you leave it to them. I work for the feds. So you must, like, two things can't be true. If I work for the feds, but you're going under the jail. You're going under the jail. Because please believe, I work for the feds. I'm like this with my supervisor. You already know. If I work for the feds, I would be like this with my supervisor. You're going to be under the jail. You're going to have more jail time than Diddy by the time it's done. More jail time than Diddy. So on one hand, I'm in the courtroom. All the Diddyists are screaming, I'm fed, I'm fed, I'm fed, because they're so stupid. They actually think that the fed... You know how stupid they are. But I guess this is just like a dumbness of like dumb people. They were telling everybody I worked for the feds. But if I worked for the feds, do you know that Diddy's team could have used that for a mistrial? They could have used that for this. They could have used that for leaking confidence. The fact that stupid, but people are like, oh yeah, she fed. But let's just say you believe that, I do work for the FBI branch of YouTube, right? Fine. And I do. I was just in a company meeting and I was like, who do you think we should bring down next? Right? So, so if you do think I work for the feds, then you trying to jump on me while my coworkers are around. Oh, bitch, you fitting to get stomped. You fitting to get dog walked out of bed, literally. But if you don't believe that, then we are still in the court of law. There's armed guards less than 5 feet away with me, 5 feet away from me. And trust, I was there every day, so they know me. I'm like their official adopted little sister. They saw me there every day for almost how many weeks? 8 weeks? My security is sitting right next to me looking at you like, do you got a problem? Literally. And at the end of the day, okay, right? It's time to squabble up. I'm just saying, right? But here's the thing. So that's why I say all this to say, it's time we start showing the women that are under Diddy's spell, whether it's low self-esteem, whatever it is. Well, I don't know. Gina, Miami, all of them. We should actually start showing them a little grace, because I thought about it. I am firmly believe that every single woman that is with Diddy is going through the same thing that Cassie went through on one level or another. And the only reason we don't see it is because their pride, because they want to prove they're not like the other girls. They want to prove no, that's the way she got treated, not me. They want to prove that they're so special that they're hiding it. But they're hiding it to feed into a fantasy of the type of man they have. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Because if Cassie hadn't told us, we would have never known what happened between Diddy and Cassie. We would have never known. So, excuse me. So I'm going to show the Dum Dum Brigade a little bit of grace, right? Listen. Who said it? Lovely Marie BK said, Tisa was working hard during the Diddy trial. Baby, when I tell you I was working hard, I was working hard. I was working hard. I even said, I was working hard. I was working hard and stopping at Morgenstein. That's the funny thing. Everybody was trying to find where I was at so they could sit there and try to intimidate me. I was at Morgenstein's Finest ice cream every day, getting a few scoops, as you can tell. I'm now working that ice cream off, right? But I was at Morgenstein's Finest ice cream on the Lower East Side, getting their Ruth and Daughters special edition. They had a sesame and everything bagel ice cream sandwich. I know it sounds crazy, but it was chef's kiss. They had a peach gummy popsicle. It was so good. With peach gummies in it, dipped in, and it was peach sorbet dipped in lemon. They had, what was the other flavors I was getting into? Oh my God, they had burnt honey. Oh, they had animal cracker vanilla ice cream, which tasted like burnt honey vanilla ice cream. I don't care. I love honey and vanilla. They had, what other flavors? Oh, I had the oolong peach tea. I was getting triple scoops of ice cream every single day. The thing is, I'm such an easy person. I don't understand. Like, where did y'all think I was going to be? At a bar on Lower East Side doing lines of Coke off of the bar? No, I was at Morgenstein's Finest ice cream doing wholesome shit. That's the thing. They never met anyone wholesome. So they never knew to look at all the ice cream spots. If you're trying to get me, look at all the ice cream spots. It would have been so easy, but whatever. I'm not going to help idiots. I'm not going to help idiots. All right, listen. Thank you, Leah on the tube. Thank you. Yes, Maria Barrera. Thank you so much. Listen, yes, I was there every day, in the courtroom, being out there early. I was doing the thing. Also, so let's get back into this Diddy reach, though. This Diddy thing, right? Because the reach of this is so crazy. Oh, hold on a second. Okay. So the whole point of all this is Diddy is getting out in 2.5 years. Diddy has a choice to make. He doesn't want again, the fact that he wants a pardon instead of a commuted sentence makes me think that Diddy might have political aspirations. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that's what it is. Trishawn, what's up? Trishawn said, YouTube not letting me say what I want to say, but you already know what I'm thinking now. Yo, Trishawn, we like this. We like this. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. I know exactly what you're trying to say. I know exactly what you're trying to say. I know exactly. It's funny thing. People be thinking I be moderating their comments, and I'm like, I don't. It's YouTube. Oh, and also let's give a shout out to B, the best moderator in the world. Thank you so much, B. We appreciate you. But yeah, so listen. So where are we at? Okay, Diddy is in jail. He doesn't want to send us commuted. He wants a full pardon, but he's trying to think, does it make sense to send through? Because here's the thing, you can save $300 million and stay in that jail for 2.5 years, but getting back to it, I think Diddy's really, really scared about the parole. And I think Diddy really should be, I think Diddy should be afraid of the parole, because I think that the parole is what is going to 100% make sure that Diddy stays. If like it's a revolving door, he gonna be in and out of jail, because I just don't honestly see how Diddy is ever going to change who in fact he is. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, right? I just don't see how he's going to change. So y'all put a 1 in the comments if you think that if you think that Diddy's actually going to change. I hope he does. Here's the one thing that I think that everybody needs to acknowledge, and this is one thing that Didiots just don't want to admit. I wish to God Diddy was who he pretended to be. I wish Cassie wasn't a victim. I wish he hadn't got so many girls hooked on drugs. I wish he hadn't done this whole little life of crime. I really wish Diddy was who he pretended to be, which was Black excellence. But that said, maybe because of me, I've seen Black excellence. I know Black excellence. I was raised by Black excellence. Okay? I know what that is. So for me, getting Diddy up out of the whole Black community and helping other communities too, but I'm gonna speak for my community first, right? Getting Diddy out of the Black community, that makes sense because there's so many other Black people that are true excellence that can take his place. Like, that's one thing in this community we don't got to worry about. There's lots of excellence. The fact that you even make it through adolescence in a country that is stacked against you with prejudice, racism, classism, if you are LGBTQ, homophobia, transphobia, the fact that you somehow even made it up and into adulthood and you are functioning, it's a level of excellence that I don't think a lot of people out the Black community can even understand. And when you take it, the fact that so many Black people aren't just functioning, we are thriving, we are striving. There's a reason why whenever we get into a field, we dominate and take over, because our excellence it's been honed in fire. It's been honed in fire. And it's crazy to me. And I actually thought it was really, really insulting with Diddy's legal team that they would even actually imply that we are so starved for role models, starved for people we can believe in, starved for success, that we need a goddamn diddling pervert, abusive, lying, a narcissistic piece of arrogant ego, thinks he's God, but he's nothing, trash, that we need to hurry up for that type of person to be rehabilitated so our kids can have a thought of the future. That was the most disgusting thing Diddy's team even suggested. You know, listen, even suggested. Listen, it was what it was. Okay, exactly. Diddy does not represent the best of us. I wish he was who he pretended to be. But now that we know that he was pretending, we have a lot more excellence that can go and take that space. We don't need him. We don't need him, you know? Again, who said this? Phoebe said, I don't think he can. There are certain things that some personality traits that can't be changed. Even if he wanted to, it would be a struggle, and he can't do that. You know, Phoebe, is it Phoebe or Phoebe? Phoebe Bassett, I tend to agree with you. Um, listen. I tend to agree with you that I don't think that those type of there's character and then there's habit. Okay, habit can be changed. Like I'm trying to change my habit. My habit was to go to Morgan Sneen's Finest Ice Cream on Lower East Side whenever I can and get something to eat. And now that was my habit, right? Ordering from what's that one place, Zai Zhang? Girl, I was in all the Asian. Yo, you know me and Asians, right? But the whole point of I was in all the Asian spots, eating good. But the whole point of the matter is my habit was to eat unhealthy and to indulge in ice cream, right? But now that's another reason why I haven't been working so much too. I've been sleeping, I've been in the gym, I've really been trying to like work on my I've really been trying to work on my fitness, but my habit was unhealthy lifestyle choices. And now I'm changing that habit into fitness. Habit can be changed. Habit is routine. Habit is not in you. But to Phoebe's point, character cannot be changed. Who you are as a person. If somebody is naturally cruel, you can't change that. If somebody is naturally sweet and caring, you can't change that. You can kind of make them tougher and make them more aggressive. But as soon as you get past that hard exterior, that scar tissue they emotionally developed in order to get through the world, as soon as you get through that, they like the Stay Puft Marshmallow. They are the same ooey gooey, sweet person they always were. So character can't be, it can be hidden, just like a predator can act like they're changed. Character can be hidden, but blood always shows, which is why in court, you cannot use, you can like, I'm not even going to get into it, but character is they're very, very careful about admitting it into court. Character evidence, not habit, but character evidence, because even the courts acknowledge character is usually not changed. So they make you jump through hoops to admit character evidence because it is so damning. Because even our legal system and philosophers and poets knows character cannot be changed. I do believe that now that Diddy's mask has been ripped off, he shows that he is absolutely vile, disgusting character. And I do not think he's going to change that much in 2.5 years. But that's why I'm very, very grateful that Judge Aaron not only bookmarked, like bookend the 2.5 years, but put that 5 years of probation to truly keep a society straight, right? And then listen, it truly shows that he cared about keeping society safe. And his goal was to make sure that Diddy didn't commit the crimes, but to leave room. Like he said, if you are who you say you are and you change, blah, 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 then you shouldn't have any problem. Then you shouldn't have any problem. You know what I'm saying? And Press 444 said he definitely has a diagnosis. I know, right? That's what I was thinking. When I was watching, even when he was coming in the court and sobbing and crying, you know what? Maybe because I think my pet peeve, I don't have many. I'm usually that friend that I'm like, whatever. You want to be late? Okay. I'll, because I'm usually the late one. But even you want to be late? Okay. Right? You want to like, you get drunk and you start fights. Girl, whatever. I got your back. Like, I'm a very accepting friend, which is why people feel so comfortable around me. I'm also, if you're my friend, I will never tell your business ever for anything. I will never talk, not even not if you're in front of me, I will laugh at you to your face and joke with you and tease you about the dumb shit you did. But you know, if you're my friend, it's a vote. It's not coming out. I'm a very, very, very accepting friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you guys are the same way. Meaning, I don't look at the way people are as anything except for they're being on their bullshit. Now, if you mess with a kid, if you grape someone, if you are abusive, man or woman, all right, those are my cutoff points. I ain't accepting shit, right? If you are a thief, if you are, it's like, okay, fine. There's some things where I'm like, okay, no, but we would never be friends. But when it comes to my friends, if somebody talks too much, if they talk too little, if somebody, is this way or that way, I just look at it as like, I'm not perfect. That's just the way you are. So I'm very, very, very accepting of the way people are. Okay. But with Diddy and people like Diddy, that's the thing. Diddy scares me. There's a diagnosis there. But even that's what I mean. And my thing is, I'm very accepting the way people are. But my one pet peeve is when I feel like I'm being emotionally manipulated. Yeah, the whole term, what my big cousins used to say, you ain't got to lie to kick it. You don't have to lie. Just tell me what it was. I already knew the truth and I don't care. Okay, fine, you did it. So what, right? Was it murder or was it murder? Was it murder or murder? Like, what were the things? So the whole point of the matter is, when it comes to Diddy, there was so much emotional manipulation that was happening in court. Diddy coming out, yo, Your Honor, I want to say. And I would just be like, are people falling for this? And it made me scared for humanity, because I realized that, like, maybe I was raised that, I feel like a lot of you guys were raised like this too. People's actions matter more than words. I'd rather someone curse me out and tell me the truth than smile at me and fill me with lies. I'd rather someone, like, if I call you 3 a.m, be like, what the fuck? You never have gas in the car. Ah! All right, what avenue are you? I'll be there. I'll be there. Fine. Like, God, why would you have me? And why they putting the gas in the car? Again, I would rather them not curse me out at all. But if they are cursing me out while they're putting gas in my car or changing my tire, being like, God damn it, why'd you got any gas? Why was you riding through glass? Blah, 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 blah. And what you got on? I would rather there'll be some honesty in our dealings, but know that you love me down, that you got, this does not apply to boyfriends. You better not curse at me, because my daddy will have something to say. But I would rather, and when it comes to friendships and family and like lasting relationships, that you come to me honestly and with a lot of love. Because no matter how angry I make you, no matter how messed up it seems, you're always going to have my back. And I'm always going to have yours, no matter what. So it is my biggest pet peeve, where emotional manipulation. Because it shows you don't trust me enough with the truth. And 2, it thinks you're so stupid I don't see through it. But when I was in the courthouse, I said, and it's a very weird phenomena where, as long as people tell you what you want to hear or do performative nonsense, your mind just shuts off. Because you're like, they did A, they must be a good person. Girl, the devil apologized a million times. And hell's still going. What does it have to do with anything? It's just like, Diddy's manipulation, it was so obvious and so pathetic. Him falling out on the chair. I think you know what he did? I forgot to bring it up. When he fell out crying, it reminded me of, what's the song he got with Faith when Biggie died? Remember when he acted like he was like breaking down and hitting the chair and going crazy? That's what he was doing in court. And I literally was like, I know nobody's believing this bullshit. But guess what? They were, in fact, beating this bullshit, because I realized there have been a lot of people in this world, and it's sad that they've never really had people they can count on. So the only thing they can cling to is words, and they need those words because they don't know the true force and authority and love that comes from someone that is 10 toes down with you by action. They never had someone whose actions show, because that's truth. That's why there's even body language analysis and this and that. And the FBI has a whole thing in the CIA about reading people, because the truth is in our actions. Words can always be manipulated. Now, the beautiful thing is when the words and actions match. But if not, it's like, I'm just going to look at your actions. And it made me think like, yo, there's a lot of people in this world that never had the love of action. So they They cling to cheap words, and pretty soon the action doesn't even matter because they don't even expect the action. And all they're doing is clinging to cheap words. You know, listen, 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 again, again. Listen, listen. That's just my opinion. Diddy is a master manipulator. And this goes to people's point. He's a master manipulator. There seems to be some type of diagnosis, but it scares me that so many people, even after they hear the truth, will choose to go back to those pretty words because his team was saying what they hope to be true, what they believe to be true. But like my dad always said, if you want to get ahead in life, the number one thing that you can do in life is to recognize reality. Not what you hope it to be, not what you think it should be, not what you pray it should be, not what it could be, but you need to recognize what reality is. What is reality? Do they like you or not? What's reality? Because once you know what reality is, then you can start using all these manifestation techniques. Then you can start moving mountains. Once you clearly know where reality is, but how are you supposed to climb up a mountain when you don't even know where the base is? Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's there. You need to know where the starting point is, which is reality. And the only way to see reality are through people's actions, because nobody can ever truly know what's in another's head, ever. So we have to go by actions. And it's just like, yeah, a lot of people in Diddy trial made me realize, like, some people like forget about seeing reality. They don't even want to acknowledge reality. They just want to stay asleep. They want to stay asleep because they just want to stay asleep. They again, there's a reason why in the Matrix everybody was like sleeping in their pods, chilling, right? And when they gave Neo the red or the blue pill, he was like, there's a reason. There's a reason, right? Listen. So Roshana Elliott, what's up? Said, wow, there are two people who are above American laws, and it's Diddy and Donald Trump. Well, maybe it might be Donald Trump, but Diddy, he's sitting in jail. But I get your point. Exactly. Empress 444 said to take the bell off. Yep, Maria, I agree. Hold on, let me get a few more comments. Soul Sister said, a zebra don't change their stripes, especially at Diddy's age. He will never change. I tend to agree with you. But who said it also? Hamilton said, Diddy is the devil. I agree. And Deborah said, oh, thank you. You said, oh, thank you. Deborah said, you see me as black. Thank you. Tells it like it is. Love that. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Deborah. I'll say one thing, though. I don't think Diddy's ever going to change, and I think that's why Diddy is seriously considering spending that alleged $300 million on a pardon, because he knows it's going to be curtains. 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 Lynn Gold said, Tisa, oh, listen. They said, Tisa, they're all jealous of you. Keep up the great work. I'll tell you one thing. I don't think those other people that were going after me, I don't think they were jealous of me. You know what I think it is? I think that they had just given up on themselves. I think they just given up on themselves. I think they had just given up on themselves in so many ways. What Latoya say? In so many ways. But yeah, I really honestly do think that I do. Anyway, you guys, listen. Hold on. Let me see. Is there anything else I'm missing from this? Hold on. There might be one other story. Okay. All right. So that's it. So Diddy's going to be out on May 8th, 2028, unless he gets involved in the prison ball or does something illegal. And then that is going to be expanded. So yeah, shout out to Diddy, itty bitty Diddy, still in MDC in the middle of the city, doing his thing. I'm waiting to see who the borough of prisons is going to assign for his actual jail. Listen, It's important to know that he said he wanted Fort Dix. The judge refused to recommend Fort Dix. He said someplace in the New York area, and the Bureau of Prisons will most likely take the judge's recommendation that it be something in the New York area, but not Fort Dix. Regardless, Diddy has a little fight on his hands. Roldy says, does the pardon excuse Diddy from any other charges to be brought up? And also, how about those lawsuits he has? So the lawsuits he has, I don't know what's going on with that. I do know that Diddy does have the pardon only excuses him from those particular crimes. Any other crimes, drug trafficking, money laundering, kidnapping, any future crimes or any crimes he committed in the past that do not fall under what he was specifically pardoned for, yeah, Diddy will 100% go. Hold on, let's end this Q&A. Wait, how do I see what's the answers to these questions? Ugh, YouTube is always. What's the answer? Can we see the Q&A? What's the answer? Anyway, I assume most of y'all will want 300 million for 2.5 years in Fed jail. I'm assuming. Listen, Justin said yes. Put me in solitary. L choose Joy Carletta said yes. Leah on the tube said no. I would woman up and quit begging for mercy. I would do everything possible to rehabilitate myself. Read, learn some meditation. I would write songs and podcasts. I would too. And I would also be in that gym, Leah. My body would be tea, Lipton, old school Southern iced tea, where you put the jar in the sun for 2 days and really get that tea flavor. My body would be tea. I would do all that. And then, oof, my body would be sick. Honeybee Therapy said, yes, I would have never been arrested. Oh, thank you, Maria, about a baby. You said you just want to say I'm a great reporter and keep up. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate that. And Leola said, I love you too, Leola. Thank you. Christian Buckman said, nope, chances are you might not survive. No, this is Fed jail. Fed jail is very, very, very easy. Pete Boss, okay. Anthony, what's up? Anthony said, will Wendy Williams be brave enough to spill more tea about Diddy while being under conservatorship? I don't know. It's sad what they did to Wendy. It is so sad what they did to Wendy. It's just sad. In any case, listen, it wasn't supposed to be a Q&A. It was supposed to be a poll. I'm always messing that up. Oh, well. Anyway, next time around. See, this is it. I love lovely Marie BK. You said, I need to learn more about federal jail first. And this is why I love y'all. Yeah, because we are here. Because you know what? I think that's what we're all trying to say. Well, first of all, what job am I going to be in? What cell block? I'm going to have to research this a little bit more before I give you 300 million. All right, you guys, listen, let me get out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to post some more videos later on today, and I'm going to try to go live every day this week, okay? We're going to try to do the Vlogmas a few days early. This is Fright Fest, where I'm doing vlogs every single day. Maybe we're going to have the Great November. We're going to make our own Vlogmas. Anyway, y'all, let me know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh, wait, wrong way. Hold on. Now I'm going to say bye. Okay.